You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
It's the newest Ribby's Lounge and it's called Ribby's Ocean Lounge right here at the Victoria Pier in downtown Kingston. I'm Javon Keys and we'll be bringing you the highlights of the media mingle from last night and today the grand opening. Stay tuned.
Pirates Cove. Right where we are was a nightclub that was as exciting, and in those days, you know, the place was jam-packed and people were dancing. They were dancing ska and rocksteady and so on. And so I'm really happy to see that here we are again, but we're not at Pirates Cove tonight. We're at Ribby's. And I really want to congratulate the team, Don, Ribby, and Kamal, for really making this happen. I'm really very happy. And I wanted to give the three guys who have done a wonderful job in getting this place up and running, a big round of applause. Let me see if you're hearing me. Now, things are going to get even better. Because as we open up Port Royal to visitors to Kingston, because Port Authority is now introducing what is called a sea walk, and the ship will dock out at sea, and we'll have a floating pier. And they're hoping that this will come on stream next year in time for the tourist season. And as the ferry is reintroduced, and we have all kinds of exciting things happening in Port Royal and downtown Kingston, it is going to be rivaling other waterfronts, other places in the world. I'm only sorry that I had an apartment in the Ocean Towers and I sold it.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. And so I just want to wish you all the success. And as we finalize arrangements to declare entertainment zones, this will be one of the first locations to be officially declared an entertainment zone.
So joining us now is the Minister of Entertainment and Sports, Olivia Babsy Grange. How are you, Minister Grange?
I'm good, I'm good.
How are you enjoying the Ribby's Ocean Lounge experience?
It's great, and in fact it takes me back to my young years, because this is a space where we used to have a lot of fun. Victoria Pier, Pirates Cove, it was the happening, and I'm happy to see downtown Kingston is coming back to its former glory days.
So, entertainment is something that we all want to see being developed in any major city. Tell us, how does this setup add to that thrust towards developing entertainment in Kingston?
Well, Ribby's is bringing back life to our capital city. And you know, entertainment is at the center of Brand Jamaica. Our culture, our music, and our creative people. And so, entertainment downtown Kingston is gonna really open up the city. It's a cultural city. We are designated the UNESCO Creative City of Music. And we are now waiting on our nomination of reggae as Jamaican heritage music to be inscribed on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage Site. And when that happens, that will be the icing on the cake. And so when I see all that's happening now downtown Kingston and what is projected to be done, just the vibrancy and the old charm of Kingston and the excitement of this cultural city is going to just explode. I'm a downtown girl, born and bred in West Kingston, downtown Kingston. And we are used to a city that does not sleep. And over the years, things had just basically stopped happening. So now we're seeing the regeneration of Kingston, capital city. We're going to see a rebirth and a resurgence of activities and prosperity.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to downtown Kingston. It feels really, really good to be right here with the friends and family that are in the building tonight. We've been open for approximately, I would say, a month with a soft opening in September, and today, November 1st, is historic. When you came inside, you saw a ribbon on the front door, which will be cut shortly, and it is symbolic for the reopening of this space, downtown Kingston. For a lot of persons who may not be aware, we will be open 7 days a week, starting at midday every day, starting today. 7 days a week, you will be able to come downtown and have top quality entertainment, drinks and food until midnight, and on Friday and Saturday until 2 a.m.
At least.
At minimum, until the minister declares the entertainment zone, and then we suspect we can go for 24 hours.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you all again to the new Victoria Pier.
Done.
Right here in downtown Kingston. Yes, I got a little tongue. Tonight is a milestone in the entertainment industry, as the older folks, a little older than me, would have experienced, as what Baptist said, the minister, that Victoria Pier, a long time ago, was the spot, the place to be for entertainment. And tonight, the brand Ribbies is here with us to launch downtown Kingston right here at the new Victoria Pier. And we are happy that you all could take your time out to be with us and experience Ribbies Ocean Lounge. I think we have said enough, and it's time to eat, drink, and be merry.
First of all, let me welcome Business Access TV to Ribbies on the Ocean. The opening night last night has been exceptionally supported by the press and the media, and I must say everything has been going fine, and the response for Ribbies Ocean Lounge has been marvelous. People have been coming, people have been calling, and the atmosphere down here is superior. Ribbies Ocean and Ribbies Ultra Lounge at Barbican are two different personalities in terms of our decor, you know. So you would like either one whenever you come to Barbican or on the ocean. Come on down, downtown is alive.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test. It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test.
Free eye testing is back and it's here to stay. Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply. Make your appointment today at www.islandeyewear.com or call us 630-1180. Island Eyewear, your style, your price.
It's Island Hour, free eye test.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales. cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to BATV's coverage of the official opening of Ribby's Ocean Lounge right here at the Victoria Pier in downtown Kingston. Stay tuned for more highlights.
But I just want to say, when Digicel came downtown 7 years ago, we took a chance. And it was seen as a big move by a big corporate company to throw its weight behind the capital city of Jamaica, where all the action was. And we did it. And we are very happy to be part of what's happening in downtown. And we'd like to believe that we started the whole movement once again. And so I'd like to commend Ribby's, Don, Kamal for showing faith in downtown and for investing in downtown and helping to bring Victoria Pier back to life with the Ribby's brand. And so we're very pleased to be working with them and was very happy to come on board to show them the hospitality that we have to offer for anybody who wants to come and invest in downtown. And I think they've done a tremendous job. It's a beautiful location. I think it's going to be many years that this place will have a lot of success in bringing entertainment and life to downtown, and we look forward to that. We look forward to the quality of the brand, bringing a new, fresh perspective to the nightlife fair in downtown Kingston. And I congratulate them, and I hope you congratulate them with me. And please support them and support downtown. And thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you, Ribby's.
So joining us now is Justin Moran. He is the CEO of Digicel Jamaica. How are you, sir?
Great, and you?
I'm well. How are you enjoying the Ribby's Ocean Lounge experience downtown?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, what these guys have done here, I'm very proud of that achievement because Digicel came down here 7 years ago, and we really started, in our opinion, a movement to rejuvenate downtown. And we really have a lot of faith in what downtown can bring Jamaica. So we're very happy to see what these guys have done, the investment they've made into bringing Ribby's down here, and they've done a fantastic job. It's great inside, atmosphere is lovely, the food is great, the company is great, the decor is amazing, and they've really put a lot into creating a nice environment for people to come down and enjoy in the evening. So I'm very happy and pleased to see Ribby's down here finally in downtown Kingston.
Great, so you guys have a partnership with Ribby's Ocean Lounge. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, you know, they reached out to us and they said they were coming here, and then, you know, for us it was just a no-brainer to jump on board to help them out. And so we put fiber down here for them so that they could offer their patrons free Wi-Fi. We've also wired them up to have our TV services. So now you can come down here and watch your favorite sports matches at all times of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here and to be playing a role in revitalizing downtown Kingston, Jamaica. Loose Cannon Tours started just about 2 years ago. We have 2 weekly cruises. We also do charters. We've had a good relationship with Ribby's for that time. They have held our hand and helped us forge our way forward. And now we're continuing that partnership right here on the waterfront. So most of our activities, especially our charters for all the Christmas parties and so on, will take place out of Ribby's down here. and we sail out of here every Friday night. And we continue to work together. As you can see, this is a fantastic location right here on the water. And Kingston, it's hard to believe. 2 weeks ago on a Saturday night, we were down here till 4 o'clock in the morning and nobody wanted to leave. And this is Kingston, Jamaica. That's everybody is so comfortable downtown once again. I used to hear about it when I was a kid, how people used to walk back and forth downtown. Now it's back here again. Ribby's has played a phenomenal part in revitalizing downtown, and we're very pleased to be one of their partners, and we'll work to continue to serve together. Thank you very much. Well, we've been working together for almost 2 years now, and now Ribby's has moved on to the water, so it's a marriage made in heaven. We're working very closely with each other. So most of every Friday night now, we sail from here 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. We have a harbor cruise every Friday night, and most of our charters will also originate from here. Well, we have a special cost for our residents. For example, Friday night is $6,500 Jamaican dollars. For a Jamaican resident, it's $65 US for a non-resident. On Sunday to the beach, it would be $8,000 for a resident and $85 US for a non-resident. And that includes open bar and buffet, so it's food and drink inclusive.
Coming from Montego Bay, we own Pier 1, so we're on the waterfront. This is perfect for me. Finally, I can come to Kingston and go to somewhere that feel like I'm in Jamaica.
What would you say to other persons with regards to establishing businesses downtown, entertainment businesses particularly?
Well, obviously it's a hit. So I would recommend that anybody that have the pull that can move people, move them to the waterfront, because it's much better than the congestion of New Kingston and a lot of the packed areas now. The waterfront is wide open, so I think it's a good idea. Let's struck gold.
So far, what are you enjoying the most?
So far, everything has been good. The liquor been good, the service been excellent, music been on point, and just the whole ambience is just fabulous.
So with me now is Deidre, she's a patron here. How's the opening night for Ribby's Ocean Lounge?
I mean, it's excellent. I'm having so much fun. It's great.
So what do you say to other people who might be skeptical about coming on down?
You should be here. You should be here. It's a good vibe. You'll enjoy yourself. Trust me.
And what's your favorite part of the experience so far?
Well, everything. Everything so far. Yes, everything.
So I'm sure you've been to the other Ribby's. Which you prefer and why?
Well, I like the both of them, but because we have the water outside, that's a bonus right there.
So we've been bringing you the highlights from the Ribby's Ocean Lounge downtown Kingston grand opening. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more highlights.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
With me now is Mr. Kamal Banky. He's one of the shareholders in this Ribby's Ocean Lounge and Ribby's franchise overall. Tell us, what does this establishment in downtown Kingston mean for you and your shareholders?
For me, it's a triumph over the naysayers. A lot of people said we couldn't do it. A lot of people said we were crazy to decide to come to downtown Kingston. I said I believe in Kingston, Jamaica, and I want to build another franchise of our original business, successful business, Ribby's Ultra Lounge, on the waterfront. We got an opportunity, and we said, well, guess what? We're going to bring our vibrations downtown and build the energy from the epicenter of the waterfront at Victoria Pier.
Tell us some of the challenges that you might have faced in establishing Ribby's here.
One of the things is really that people didn't understand what our vision was. I mean, they were like, you're going to bring a nightclub to the waterfront, like, because they see what Barbican is. But every one of our properties that we will open, I mean, this is the second one, will have a different identity. So this one has a distinct identity, distinct look and feel, a distinct layout, and that gives it identity, and will get the people that it's supposed to get. Host them in the way that they're supposed to be hosted. And for me, it's very important that people understand what we're trying to sell here. For me, the food experience on the waterfront is one of the most important things you can get. The bar experience is great, but when you come down here, you're going to stay here for 6 hours. And if you stay here for 6 hours, you're going to eat. And then you're going to have a drink. You might eat again and have 2 more drinks. And relax a little bit, drink some water, and then go to your yard. But most importantly, we are building an ecosystem of people here that are going to be very happy and very, very comfortable hanging out with us every day downtown Kingston.
So we miss the big man himself. This is Don Curry. Mr. Curry, how are you, sir?
I'm good. They say without vision the people perish. So we like to see when our visions come alive.
All right, so tell us now, what led you to establish Ribby's Ocean Lounge in downtown Kingston?
Okay, we have a vision. And it's not limited to locally, but anywhere in the world you go, your waterfront is usually the center of entertainment, etc. We are on the 7th best harbor in the world, and we had a discussion among ourselves, me, Ribby Kamal, and myself, and we decided that we, as a brand that is established, need to lead the revitalization of downtown Kingston. We believe in Kingston. We support the mayor's vision of Kingston. We support the government's vision of Kingston. And we basically just put our money where everybody just chat. This venture is successful because there are other people who are appreciative of our foresight and vision, and the support has been overwhelming. And I like to use this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for the people who have come here, because we have opened this business and it has not affected Ribby's Ultra Lounge in Barbican. So obviously we're doing something right.
Here we are with one of the patrons here at the Ocean Lounge, Ribby's Ocean Lounge in downtown Kingston. Tell us your name and how you're enjoying the experience.
I'm Gabrielle Davis, and this is actually my second time being at Ribby's downtown, and it's like a really open vibe. Honestly, the best thing I liked about tonight was the food.
And what would you say to persons who probably be skeptical coming downtown?
Honestly, I have never been skeptical about coming downtown, but to anybody who might be, I have nothing bad to say, no bad reviews. It's a very safe place. The food is good, the drinks are good, and the crowd is good. So I would say come.
So I'm joined by Shelly. She's another patron here at Ribby's Ocean Lounge downtown Kingston. How are you enjoying the experience?
Excellent experience. I mean, there's a lot of vision actually in this space, and I really need to congratulate Ribby and his partners for really putting together this. I mean, it's just all about the right persons, the music, the vibe, and of course the great cuisine. Excellent.
So far, what's your favorite part of the experience?
Boys, you're putting me on the spot, you know. I mean, I would say that everything really tied in very well. That's what I would say. Tied in very well.
All right, gentlemen, so tell us how you're enjoying the experience so far.
Great experience, fabulous experience. To be downtown at this time, fabulous experience.
How's the experience for you?
Excellent. Ribby's is the place.
So with us now is Captain King. He's one of the bartenders here at Ribby's Ocean Lounge downtown Kingston. Tell us, how does it feel to work with the Ribby's franchise?
Well, I'm the bar supervisor here, and it's a great opportunity for me as a celebrity mixologist, I might call myself. And I've been mixing for a lot of brands, and it's such an honor to actually be on the waterfront and be the man that is in charge for all the mixes. So it's a great honor. That's all I can say. Big up Ribby's Ocean Lounge, big up Dan, Kamal, and Ribby, of course. It's my pleasure being a part of the team.
As for patrons who want to come out and come downtown to Ribby's Ocean, so what are some of the specials that you have here offering?
Oh my God. Everybody that knows me knows that I make great and amazing drinks. Always out of the box, so we have an interesting drink called Rough Waters, which includes Scotch bonnet pepper, along with a lot of other interesting Jamaican ingredients. So we have like soursop, we have a tamarind martini, we have a lot of interesting drinks. So as long as you come and you just interact with us, we'll give you some of the available cocktails we have at Ribby's Ocean Lounge.
And that brings us to the end of our coverage of the Ribby's Ocean Lounge downtown Kingston Media Mingle. As always, thanks for staying tuned to Business Access TV. I'm Javon Keys, and remember, we're serious about business.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Have you ever stopped to observe how our modes of transportation have evolved over the years? We're talking about donkeys to carriages to cars, boats, trains, and aeroplanes. Simply put, today we have many ways to get around when we need to, and for this we ought to be grateful. Hello there. Thanks for making it Jamaica Magazine. As you may have guessed, in today's show we talk transportation. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Motorists, when driving on the road, here are some simple reminders. Look out for and extend courtesy to all road users. Give plenty of room to pedestrians, especially in wet weather. Drive slowly. No bother wet them up. Slow down when approaching a pedestrian crossing or school, and always be prepared to stop. Remember, a school zone is a 30-kilometer zone. Cut your speed. Drivers of large and slow-moving vehicles should always keep in the far left hand of a dual carriageway. Keep it simple. Drive left and pass right. These are just simple reminders of your road duties. Drive safely.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, September 20. Residents of Rock River and surrounding communities in Clarendon are now beneficiaries of a new health facility. The Rock River Health Center, a Type 1 facility, was officially opened on Wednesday. It will serve 15 communities in the northeastern side of the parish. Its construction was made possible through the collaborative efforts of the Clarendon Health Services, Food for the Poor, and an overseas donor.
The people of Rock River said to me, "We tired to trot with a little scratch to Chapelton and Maypen. We want our own." I'm glad that this happened. And when I move from here and come back, I want to see it clean and look nice.
The facility provides services such as antenatal, postnatal, curative, environmental health, child health, and family planning. The Rock River Health Center will operate Mondays to Fridays. Still on health, Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the dengue epidemic is a global and regional problem which has also impacted the country. There have been almost 2 million reported cases of dengue in Latin America and the Caribbean, and more than 700 deaths in the region over the past 7 months.
In Jamaica, we are feeling the effects of it. So we cannot use the same approach or the approach that we have used in the past. We have to adjust our approaches.
Dr. Tufton was speaking with JIS News recently following a vector control tour of sections of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. He explained that dengue is widespread throughout the tropics, with local variations arising influenced by rainfall, temperature, and unplanned rapid urbanization.
Places that were not normally a risk place are now risk factors. We have to ensure that we are more sensitized, the public, so people know what they need to do in their immediate environment. The hospital is sensitized, so if persons have symptoms, we urge and encourage them to go and seek medical advice so that they can get the appropriate levels of attention.
The vector control program will continue for the next 6 months island-wide to remove mosquito breeding sites and educate persons on preventative measures and treatment of dengue. The Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology has re-established the Jamaica Energy Council, JEC, effective last Friday. The JEC is a national decision-making body which sees to the continuity of policy and sustainable development of the island's energy sector. Portfolio Minister Fable Williams says the council will contextualize the energy situation in Jamaica by highlighting its importance to sustaining life and the achievement of Jamaica's economic goals.
The solution to Jamaica's energy problems requires all members of the society to participate, and all views and ideas are important. As such, as chairman, I will explore opportunities that will allow the public to be invited to send their suggestions and comments for consideration of the council. And where necessary, selected members will be invited to make their presentation to the council.
Subcommittees of the Council will be established, which will include energy conservation and efficiency, renewable energy, petroleum advisory, and public engagement. The local government ministry has implemented several measures to eliminate the outbreak of major fires at the retirement disposal site in St. James. A new dumper truck to spread the covering material that is necessary to extinguish fires was handed over to the operators. A 28,000-gallon water tank, along with drainage pipes to facilitate the flow of water around the facility, was installed at the site. The measures were implemented as part of a multi-million-dollar redevelopment work in effect at the disposal site that is based in Granville. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says the 1,500 meters of roadway leading to the disposal site will also be repaired, and a designated cell will be created to house tires dumped at the landfill.
The Jamaica Fire Brigade is here, and the National Water Commission, and a part of this new dispensation is the installation of 3 fire hydrants at separate points across the landfill to assist in case there's a fire.
Other equipment will also be provided to the staff to prevent the outbreak of fires. The Jamaica Civil Service Association in St. Ann will join forces with the Jamaica Environment Trust to remove garbage from 3 beaches in Discovery Bay as part of International Coastal Cleanup Day tomorrow. The global initiative is aimed at reducing marine pollution. President of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, O'Neill Grant, says the Coastal Cleanup Initiative forms part of the association's centennial anniversary celebrations.
We want to make this a signal event for the Jamaica Civil Service Association. We are celebrating 100 years this year, and we are doing a number of events that is going to highlight the work and the role of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, not just in matters of industrial relations, but in our wider communities during which we serve.
Mr. Grant was speaking at a recent JIS think tank in St. James. The JCSA beach cleanup will focus on the Scenic View, Old Folly Fisherman's, and Red Cross beaches in Discovery Bay, St. Ann. Up to 75 people are expected to participate. And finally, Jamaicans from all walks of life congregated at the University of the West Indies Chapel Mona on Thursday to pay their final respects to late medical doctor and statesman Dr. Kenneth Baugh. The throng of well-wishers spilled outside the halls of the chapel and into tents erected on the grounds, where they were able to watch the service of Thanksgiving on monitors provided. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen and Prime Minister Andrew Holness headed the list of dignitaries in attendance. Mr. Holness read the first lesson, while Leader of the Opposition, Dr. Peter Phillips, read the second lesson. Dr. Baugh's daughter Melanie remembered her father as a great man who gave of himself unselfishly and would drop everything to be there for his children.
His humility in public was the same humility he displayed in private. He never cared if he didn't fit in. He never sought fanfare. He only sought the road that was honest and right.
The former Deputy Prime Minister, who devoted 30 years of his life to public service, passed away on September 1. He was 78 years old. Dr. Baugh also served as Minister of Health, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator, and Member of Parliament. He was accorded an official funeral by the government. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come scam. Take time running. Are we ready for the ops? Drive up on your block. Step out now me block. Cyber take away your laptop. Pull up every lock. No evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the under. From you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. Feel say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit. Look out fit. From you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. Feel say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit. Look out fit.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
MOCA. MOCA.
Did you know that the Jamaican railway system was the first to be open to traffic outside of Europe and North America? It was also the second British colony to do so after Canada. Unfortunately, our public passenger railway transportation service ceased operating in 1992. But today we have some good news. Plans are in place by the Jamaica Railway Corporation to revive it. Learn more next.
We see railroads all over the country, but have we ever stopped to think about what good they are, other than a train or two passing by and days too infrequent to even remember? Asphalt is the not so new but most popular way of getting around the country. But before that development, Jamaica was known for the rail. A cutting-edge technology in our nation's earlier years, the railroad industry has done a great deal for the development of Jamaica. Come with us as we take a step back in time while traversing the metal tracks of our country.
The inaugural run of the railway in Jamaica actually took place on the 21st of November, 1845. However, the competition as to whether the Jamaican rail system or the Canadian system was the first in the Western Hemisphere outside of Europe and particularly Britain would have to deal with whether when the proclamation and the order to get the railway started, if you use that as the starting date, it's actually 1842 and not 45. The rail service became necessary in Jamaica after the abolition of slavery in 1838. You needed a replacement in the production cycle of getting sugar cane to the market, and a cheap means of transport was necessary, or became the necessary element as a replacement for cheap labor. And therein lies the rub as to why rail makes sense, not only then but now in Jamaica.
Entrenched in the rich dirt soil of the land, the wheels of the railroad industry began to turn, and things were looking hopeful for the nation.
One of the fascinating things about rail, and this happened not only for sugar, but for banana, for bauxite, and for passenger service, is that the operating costs for carrying one coach is pretty much the same from a marginal cost standpoint as carrying 100 coaches. So you put together what is called a train consist that gives you an efficiency, bar none, when it comes to land transport in moving people or in moving goods from one point to the next over extended long distance. The economics of that make a lot of sense in cheaper transport costs. So who benefits? The consumer, the user, the commuter, the person who has to take goods from Kingston to Montego Bay, because the more you carry is the less it costs you. That translates to benefiting the final user of a product or a service, because they end up paying less in transport costs, which is a factor into that final price of the goods because of the use of rail service. There is also savings from less accidents. It is a safer means of transport than other land transport means. So it's not only less costly or the most cost-effective land transport, it's also the safest means of land transport. Our history and our record is that we actually is one of the safest railway in the world during our operation.
But something or things happened that shook the railroad industry as a form of public transportation. Maybe not forever, but for a period far too long to ever forget. For the wheels just stopped turning.
The operation ended because the use of rail for passenger service on a national scale was not as economic as it needed to be. And without subsidy, the corporation found it difficult to continue. The capital outlay for rail and the maintenance operation is significant and costly. And over time, we found ourselves, the railway found ourselves not being able to properly maintain its infrastructure. Passenger rail has not been in operation since 1990, but other operations such as cargo has been in operation.
April 16, 2011 witnessed the reinstatement of trains into the formal transportation system. According to that plan, a priority program of the ministry is the restoration of rail service, facilitating the movement of cargo and passengers, and the development of a rail-based tourism attraction tour.
Revitalization plan that we have will make significant economic development contribution to Jamaica. I know there are concerns about whether, like other public transport, it will have to be subsidized. No. We will operate a business model that requires no subsidy from government. We have studies that show that a link from Kingston to Montego Bay alone, nowhere else, just Kingston to Montego Bay alone, will add $100 million per annum to the GDP. That's separate and apart from the labor value added, which is another $5 to $10 million annually. All the ripple effect of the communities along the route that will be developed for tourism. The business case suggests that you make significant financial gains or benefit in those areas. The first revitalized component will be from Montego Bay to Appleton, and that in itself tells you what one of the main attractions is. It also opens up the Wise Fall, the South Coast, and a number of other attractions that are in the interior of the island. We kind of had lost that vision once. We have recognized that again, and we are therefore pushing full steam ahead to ensuring that the rail revitalization plan for Jamaica come on stream, take off, and that we'll be back on track with rail operation in the near future.
So, if you missed the train the last time around, don't worry, because pretty soon we'll be traveling the metal rails again.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
While plans are underway to get the passenger railway system up and running again, more and more Jamaicans are opting for a mode of transportation that provides greater independence and personal mobility. Motor vehicles, such as cars, vans, buses or trucks, are undoubtedly the most popular options of getting around these days. And guess what? There's a high school in Jamaica that is teaching its students how to drive their own.
Like any typical high school student, we do the arts.
We also do the sciences
and business.
Here at Jonathan Grant High School, there are 4 of us who also do driving ed.
School zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone.
Good morning, Miss Clark.
Good morning,
Miss Clark.
Good morning. It's another episode of School Zone, and as you can see, we're journeying with the students of the Driving Ed program at the Jonathan Grant High School. Right now, we're joining them at one of their driving training areas in Eltham Park, where we're going to witness firsthand what one of their classes is all about. But before we begin, let's learn some more about the program.
At Jonathan Grant High School, we pride ourselves in being innovative and creative. And so as a result of that, we decided that we want to try with our students to ensure as many as possible to leave our institution with a driver's license. And as part of that, we we wanted to ensure that all students leave with TRN as well. So the driver's license experience was part of that package. And so we decided to roll it out to students who are at age 17. And so we managed to enroll about 5 or 6 students. We wanted more, but 5 or 6 students came forward. And so as a result of that, Driving Education 101 was rolled out. The trainer, Mr. Frank, his wife, former vice principal of this institution, he does this for a living. And so when we came up with the idea for the program, he's the first person that came to my mind. I sat down with him and spoke with him, and they decided to give us a package which I believe was reasonable. The school decided to put up front the amount charged by Mr. Frank for 3 students, and then the others pay. I'm hoping that come next school year that the program will be bigger. We can have at least 10, 20 students in the program, and no doubt I'm going to seek some funding from elsewhere. All the students in the program are in the upper school, grade 10, 11, 12, 13. They're on the afternoon shift, which starts at 12. So they'll go to Mr. Frank at about 9 o'clock in the mornings.
We pick them up at school, take them to the location where we have the obstacle to training, and then we time them as one finish a time, that shift over to the wheel, another one take over, and we go through the process. We do the pre-driving inspection, where you check your documents, know the expiration of your documents, check on your engine to know the oil level, the fuel level, water level, and so on. Then we do the engine, the tire check and the lights to make sure they know when they are functioning. After going through that, then we introduce them to the vehicle, where they know the controls, the name of the controls, the usage. Following that, then we go through the forward driving. As soon as they are comfortable with the forward driving, we do some turn, left and right turn, and some stops and moving off. After they are comfortable with that now, then we introduce unit 2, which is reverse. When introduce reverse, first we get to introduce them how to do straight reverse. As soon as they are comfortable with the straight reverse, then we do the left hand back up. Left hand back up out of the road and come to the left side. As soon as they are comfortable with the left side, we go to the right side, and real life situation that helps them to take the car out of the driveway to put it out on the road and to do the left and right back up. After they are comfortable with that now, then we introduce them to the S-bend. And what is the S-bend now? As the name suggests, that prepare them like they are in a parking lot and they are learning how to maneuver without touching the other vehicles in the lot. As soon as they are comfortable with that, then we introduce them to the parallel parking, unit 3. And parallel parking is like a parking between 2 vehicles on the sidewalk, left and right hand side. That's it. Okay, so we line up with the first marker there, then full lock to your left. Good, and then you straighten your wheel. And you notify the examiner to finish by blowing your horn or tooting your horn. Now we are exiting the parking area. Okay guys, so that is it for today's practice. Well done, I'm proud of you all.
Yes, well done. Hey, hey, hey.
Hi Jamaica, we are the first batch of students from the Jonathan Grant High School to be a part of the Driving Ed program. You're watching School Zone.
Safety and confidence are 2 crucial components of this driving course. So how can we achieve that? By listening to your instructor, adhering to your road rules / road code, be aware of your surrounding, and be confident in what you're doing.
So we've made our way back to the school campus, and right now we're going to be speaking to the 5 lucky students of the Driving Ed program. We're going to be asking them about their thoughts on the course.
We decided to do this program because it is essential and it's a skill that we'd love to have in the future, and it is very beneficial to us as students to learn how to drive because, as you know, we're 6th formers and we'll be going to colleges, and learning to drive and getting our license at the end of the course means taking a next step like buying a car and driving to school.
I was a little excited knowing that I'll be learning how to drive. Even though I was learning before, my dad taught me a little about driving before. But during each lessons, I've learned a lot more. For example, learning the left hand back up, the right hand back up. And I didn't really know how to do the parallel parking. So I've learned a lot since then.
The exam basically is split into 3 different sections. You have the written test, the on-grounds test, and the road test. So the written test is broken down into mechanical and road code, which I really had a problem with the mechanical because you have more than one correct answers, and when you think you know, sometimes you don't. So I was really nervous when it came down to that, but I passed, so that means others can too.
Learning to drive is not a right, it's a privilege, and once you are afforded that privilege, then I believe that you should make the best of it.
My mother's thought, actually, she was and still is excited about the program because she sees it as something that will help me to further my future.
My name is Hortense Wellington and I'm Elian's mom, and I'm so enthused about him doing this program. It is a big achievement on his part and I'm really, really proud of him. And I'm also proud of the program for allowing them this opportunity to excel in this venture. He has big dreams of owning his own trucking company, so this, having his license, will enable him to venture out on that dream of his.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wellington. And this is such a fitting way to end the program for today. Thank you so much for joining with us. If you want to watch this program all again, simply visit our website, jis.gov.jm. And if you think you have what it takes to be featured in School Zone, email me at sclark@gis.gov.jm. I'm Sandra Clark, reminding you that
we got our license and you can too. Drive good.
What kind of ESN paper this?
I'm a birth certificate.
You what?
Birth certificate.
Hold on. Let me help you.
Where are you?
Me apply for your birth certificate online on the RGD website. Your lucky things improve and get easy now. Is there not any security feature? How your granny could have write this?
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
This is the final stop in today's magazine. Thanks for journeying with us. To watch today's program again, simply visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Don't forget that you're able to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Audrey, reminding you to never let yesterday take up too much of today. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but 4 walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
The ICAJ hosts their annual business conference here at the Jamaica Pegasus under the theme Megatrends 3.0, Changing Times, Changing Strategies. I'm your host, Mita Prasad Webb. Please stay tuned for highlights.
The world is changing. We're talking about this everywhere I go. The pace of change is unprecedented. And so, yes, I know we're accountants, but our acumen on technology, we're going to have to beef it up. We're going to have to know about big data, cloud, cybersecurity, virtual reality. This is not an environment of tomorrow where you can say, well, I'm just a numbers person. Those days are over. And so today, what we're talking about is that technology makes things a little more seamless. So we always talk about what happened with Blockbuster. We talk about what happened with Kodak. These are case studies that'll be around for years and years. But unfortunately, there are some iconic companies that will be case studies as well. It'll be Radio Shack, might be Yahoo, it might be Toys R Us, it might be Borders. There are companies that I grew up with that I thought would always be here, and yet they're gone. So the question is, will you be here in 3 to 5 years? Will your company be here in 3 to 5 years? And what are you doing about it today to make sure that you will be? So when we talk about the world, I meet people who will say, well, Kimberly, I'm just here in my bubble. No one's going to touch it here. Guess what? I was here before I was here. I've been communicating with your team at the Institute of Chartered Jamaican Accountants for probably close to 6 to 7 months. And so if that is the case, that means that just me not physically being here isn't something you're just like, oh, she's not here, I shouldn't be worried. You should be worried because technology means we're only one click away. And so as Jamaica grows and the economy grows, what you don't want is for companies to bring in other accountants. Because you are the supply, you are the experts, you are the professionals. When they're looking for someone to build a new practice area or to lead a new division, they should be here with the Jamaican accountants. It shouldn't be, oh, we got to pull someone else from the U.S. or another island or here or there. Now, that could be what they want to do, but they shouldn't have to do. And so when we talk about change and what does that mean, there's good news and bad news. The good news is, as a profession, we're purposeful, we're data-driven, we don't like ambiguity. We're really good at giving you answers. We're organized. We like checklists because most of us prefer to go down checklists. We're compliant. We make sure we're following the rules. We're rule followers. We're all of those things. And no matter where I go, there are some things about us that are the same no matter where I go. And that's the good news. The bad news is that we're purposeful. We're data-driven. We don't like uncertainty. Because in a time where you have to be innovative, in a time where you need ideas that are so out there that someone says, that'll never work. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ideas that people would say would never work. Because what I know is this, surely they told Larry Ellison that. Surely they probably told Bill Gates that. Surely they told Mark Zuckerberg that. Surely they told any one of the leaders who are here today and are billionaires, they said that'll never work. That's the innovation that we have to open up our minds and hearts to. And that's what we have to recognize in the megatrend environment of changing times. Recognizing that what we do and how we do it has to evolve and change. So we've got some trends. And I'll just give a couple of things that I do to stay abreast of everything. And I know it's hard because you're like, Kimberly, it's so much. I've got kids, I've got work, I've got elderly care, parents, that, elder care I need to do. I get it. It is busy. But somehow you've got to figure out how to source the information when you need it. Now, for me, I have a lot of different data sources. I've got FASB alerts, SEC, the Journal of Accountancy, the Maryland Statement. I've got the Fortune, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, all of these different alerts coming into my phone and into my email so that I'll know what's going on in the business world around me. Because you can't ask really good questions. You can't manage risk if you're isolated. That's why understanding the trends around you are so important, because you're going to miss something if you don't pay attention. And so yes, you've got to pay attention to Brexit. You've got to pay attention to what's going on in Venezuela and geopolitical instability. Your companies could be multinational and there's opportunities for you to go and work in different offices. Yes, you have to pay attention to what's going on in the financial world as it relates to who's able to pay their bills and who's going to bankrupt on their obligations, and who, with the tariffs that are currently, that argument that's going back and forth. You have to have enough awareness to know where to go. You don't have to memorize it, but you do need to say, when I need it, where can I go find it? Get that source in your environment. And then from a regulatory complexity perspective, the regulations are changing. There's an opportunity for you to add feedback. I'm sure the Institute would, lobby a position on your behalf if they knew that there was a position. You have to be active participants in the environment that we're in. And I know in Maryland, they'll ask us to write letters. They'll ask us to show up. Hopefully you're showing up and you're participating in your own environment and being an advocate for the profession. And then, of course, the two areas I left were technology and workforce changes. From a technology perspective, we know that in today's world, we've got the Internet of Things. We've got refrigerators that can call out for soda. When you walk in a grocery store, your phone starts beeping with aisle 9, aisle 10. We know that when I grew up, it was the Jetsons, and having a robot in your home was like a thing of unbelievable. It just wouldn't happen. And yet, if I say the wrong word, Google is like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And isn't that nerve-wracking a little bit, right? That they would even wake up to know that you said some word. The world is changing. And so even as we talk about workforce changes, a lot of those workforce changes are coming from our generational differences. Our Zs, born typically in the late 1990s and the 2000s, and our millennial colleagues born in 1980 to about late 90s, they don't want to work the same way that Gen X. I'm a Gen X. And they don't want to work the same way. And I get that. The quality of life, you want to have the ability to have the summer, you want to live, you want to see the world. But you know what? There's no fun without finance. Because how many of you have ever been on a vacation without any money? There is no fun in that. So you need a great job to fund your habits. Our young people can mentor us, our young colleagues. They deserve their seat at the table. Yet at the same time, people who are boomers and traditionalists, they also have context and wisdom. There is a compromise and meeting of the minds. And I'm so delighted that I get to talk about what that means. And so technology is everywhere. And a lot of times, boomers mostly, and some traditionalists, they're in denial sometimes. So if you're in those categories, they say, well, Kimberly, this too shall pass. Well, I don't think social media is going to pass. I mean, I get it, and I say this everywhere I go because I'm going to own it. When Facebook came out, I was years before I actually had a Facebook page, because I was like, who wants to see me at the sunset? Who cares what I had for dinner? I mean, I was just like, does it even matter? And those famous last words, I wouldn't be working now if I got in the stock what I should have. So I say that to say, let's not ignore this by thinking this is going to pass, because it's not. Especially when you see in the manufacturing environments. That was before automation. This is after automation. Now, it might not be your job function, but if you're doing anything that a machine can do, over time, your companies may make tough decisions about who does that work. Okay? So it doesn't have to be scary if you're prepared. So we all need to bring our A game and pay attention to the mega trends, because it's important. We know that technology is driving transformation. If you were able to go into your environment and save money, figure out how to create and drive revenue, enable transformation, imagine how much more valuable you would be. Imagine how well positioned you would be if they were making tough choices.
What are the key points of your presentation this morning?
So the key points of my presentation are that we have to continually evolve and change, and looking at the trends will help us be in a better position.
Is this your first time here at the Chartered Accountants Conference?
Yes! This is amazing. The energy, the enthusiasm. I walked into this room and immediately felt energized, like caffeine. So I'm really excited to be here.
How would you say conferences of this nature benefit the industry?
So conferences like this, and what I really want to call out is that the president talked about doing a conference that wasn't about technical themes. So this conference that talks about other things that make us well-rounded, that give us perspective, that help us grow and learn, I think are amazing, because this is exactly what we need to know. We need to know what's going on in the world around us, and we need to discuss how those help us in our day-to-day jobs and how we may need to change our strategies.
Talk to us about the theme of your presentation, changing times, changing strategies.
So I really followed the conference theme, and I really wanted it to be informative. I wanted it to be a call to action. I wanted to talk about what every person in this room could do to be intentional and to be accountable. And so changing times just speaks to how technology is changing everything, and we need to change our strategies. So I think they're related, and I'm excited about that.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think that we are all capable easily of doing what we need. When we talk about inspirational, motivational, hard work, persistence, high integrity, ethics, that's the very definition of the Institute of Chartered Jamaican Accountants. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future.
Dodge & Global Marketing Strategy Consulting. Marketing isn't a department, it's a system. Having an integrated and cohesive marketing plan allows each marketing technique to support the others, thereby creating a synergy of branding and growth for your business. Dodge & Global can assist you in making smart decisions with lasting value in regard to the following key decisions. Determine if there is a paying market for your products and services. Craft long-term and short-term marketing goals. Define marketing campaigns. Create marketing strategies. Select powerful marketing techniques to reach your audience. Choose a brand and image that reflects your core message. Design marketing materials. Design internet marketing strategies. Track marketing results to determine the strongest techniques. Because it's so important to create an integrated marketing strategy that will bring in business, get advice and mentoring from people who are already successful marketing experts. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
If you look at the major economies of the world, so we looked at about 46 or 50 of the major economies, and we said, okay, are they seeing growth or not? And that chart tells you what percentage of those economies is seeing positive growth. And so what you've seen is, this is the first time, going back 10 years, that so many countries around the world, including here in Jamaica, by the way, are seeing strong growth. So it's a good thing.
right? We've got, not only do we have strong economic growth globally, it's also synchronized. And that's generally a good thing because you want all countries to be sort of, you want a rising tide that lifts all the boats. The evidence from tariffs is that you end up supporting unproductive companies making horrible products at very high prices. I'm also a Gen Xer, as Kimberly is. I grew up in India. I can testify to crappy products at high prices made by horrible companies that shouldn't have existed, right? And so I'm sure there's folks in this room who can understand that as well. On the business side, we have companies coming in saying, oh, come on, I saw all this big global growth, there was tax reform, I was going to make all these waves of investments to capitalize, now you're telling me my supply chains are going to get messed up. So most companies are sort of in wait and see mode now. There's also a bunch of firms that saying, you know what, I'm going to try to find local substitutes, and are coming to us and saying, I can't find them. I can't find local substitutes. So what am I going to do, right? Now, that's the broad evidence. Personally, I'm actually not sure what's going to happen. If that's what's going to happen, or if we might actually see some benefit, because there are examples, the little thing on the blue, which is hard to read, there are examples where tariffs have worked. Many Asian economies where companies have been protected for a while, as long as there is competition and as long as there's a push for productivity and investment, you actually do see the tariffs sometimes do work. So that gets us to why all of this is happening, which I think is useful for people to understand, certainly from the US perspective. What happens to the exchange rate? So the theory, the economic theory would tell you that all these tariffs at the end of the day are not going to make a difference because the currency will adjust and imports will become cheaper, exports will become more expensive, and you'll end up with a trade deficit again. You might see, a reallocation. So maybe there won't be as much metals imports, but there'll be some other imports, right? And so overall, the trade deficit will remain the same. That's quite possible. One thing that we've seen is when you look at the US dollar against a bunch of its trading partners, one of the reasons we think that the supply chain has gotten hollowed out is because the exchange rate, this is a chart of the US dollar against a bunch of currencies. The US dollar appreciated in the late 90s, and that is coincident with this sort of decline as a domestic supply chain. A lot of people call out attention to China, but it's not just China, it's the appreciation of the dollar. And what we've seen is that the dollar has stayed at a high value against some of these trading partners since then. So against the Japanese, against the Koreans, you've seen that the dollar has stayed high. And so it is entirely possible that the dollar might adjust, which means that we may end up in a situation back in the 1980s, which again has implications for trade. Now, any of you might remember your history. In the early 1980s with the Reagan administration, we went through something similar to what we're going through now, right? Voluntary restraints on imports, tariffs on a bunch of imports. The target then was Japan and Europe. Now it's China. It didn't work. It didn't work because the exchange rate appreciated and the deficit stayed. And so we ended up with what's called the Plaza Accords of 1985, which was a devaluation of the US dollar, effectively. Some of those people who were involved in those negotiations back in the 1980s are in the administration today. So you might see, I personally would be watching for that to see what happens to the exchange rate. But I am here to tell you, as I tell most of the companies that we work with, if you are holding your breath expecting that all this tariff noise will go away, you should probably start breathing. We have a very resilient global economy, strong, sustained growth for several years, especially over the last 3 or 4 years, but you're starting to see this concern. And one of the concerns, the most important concern that we're seeing from businesses is what is happening with all this trade and geopolitical uncertainty. And what is happening is the fact that there is an escalation, no question, and the escalation is happening under trade auspices that give the administration in the US a lot of authority and a lot of leeway to change practices. And if you look at the words that are coming out of the administration, you will see consistent language about this. Most of that is geared towards the third point, that is to turn around 20 years of a decline in the US supply chain and try to make things better there through more domestic sourcing, through more investment, and through more protectionist policies. And is that going to work? Is anybody's guess? The record, the empirical evidence is not strong. But then we've also not had this kind of a situation where you've got an administration saying, we're going to try to do this.
Give us some feedback on your presentation today.
Well, I think, we wanted to make the point about what's going on with the broader global economy, issues around trade and tariffs, which I know are on top of mind for most people. They are concerned about what they're seeing coming out of the US. And so we wanted to make sure that we kind of covered some of those issues. I think the main point that I wanted to make was that, we are in slightly a different environment where you do have a lot of global growth going on. It's been 10 years since the global economy has been in this situation where there's been such strong growth. And so having these trade issues, these tariffs issues are a little bit of a cloud that a lot of business executives have been telling us are certainly concerns for us. And so that's why we've been developing a perspective on that.
Speak to some of the trends in your field and how they help or harm our local trade.
Well, I think there's a couple of trends that I'd probably call out. One is the fact that, even though you've had very strong global growth, it hasn't translated to the kind of global trade and investment flows that we've got used to at least last decade. So 10 years ago, we were in a strong period of global growth, and there was a lot of global trade, there was a lot of global investment, cross-border flows of services and goods. This time, it's still strong growth, but there's not commensurate growth in trade and investment. And so one of the things that we've been trying to figure out is why that's happening. And then certainly now that you've seen more action on tariffs coming from the US administration, that's also acting as a dampener on further growth of trade and investment. So I think one of the big things that we're seeing is the fact that, most people have been wondering whether the tariffs are really going to, are they going to stick around? Do they just wait it out? And one of the points we've been trying to make is to understand why the tariffs are coming by looking at issues around the domestic supply chain, particularly in some of these advanced industries, where what we've seen is that over the last 20 years or so, the majority of the growth that the American manufacturing sector has seen has not been shared by small and mid-sized companies in the domestic supply chain. All of that growth has gone to the largest companies. And the smaller and mid-sized firms in the domestic supply chain, by and large, have seen negative growth rates. You've seen companies or establishments shutting down. And that matters because the majority of workers, the majority of investment is in that supply chain. And so when the supply chain doesn't see strong growth, it has a knock-on effect on things like wage growth, or investment growth, or technology readiness, or productivity growth, right? And so that's really what we're seeing, or what we're looking for is, when you have this new kind of environment around tariffs, is that combined with things like tax reform, are you actually going to see a wave of investment coming into the supply chain? That's what we're looking for.
Talk to us about what's unique about the design of this conference.
This conference is geared towards getting persons prepared for the change that is happening, the disruption that is happening in the world today, and for our leaders to understand the change and what it means for them. And that's what's unique about it. In fact, that we are focusing on it. It's not really a numbers crunching IFRS conference. It's really a true business conference where we can focus on other things outside of accounting.
What were some expectations that you had of this conference?
First of all, I expected to have a very high level of participation from our members and from the business community. I expect that our presenters would deliver on the topics that were selected for them in accordance with the objectives of the ICAJ. And so far, we are very pleased that we are meeting those objectives. It's changing time, changing strategies, and we really like to impart knowledge to our membership and to the business community, so I think that expectation is paramount.
More from the ICAJ Business Conference when we return.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
If you are just joining us, Business Access TV is here at the Jamaica Pegasus for the ICAJ Annual Business Conference.
Let's talk about encryption for a little bit. Encryption today is not what it used to be. Encryption today is actually very, very simple. I mean, you can do it on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablets, with just a couple of clicks. So by all means, encrypt the data that you consider sensitive. It's very easy to do, and it's a very, very effective way to achieve data security. If an app that you're looking at or looking at installing, if it seems too good to be true, chances are it really is too good to be true. I mean, this one app is not going to change the world with just a couple of clicks. That's not impossible. You want to ensure that only the applications that you have on your devices are the applications that are necessary for the execution of your function, of your job function. So don't have things that are installed on there that, you know, is just on there just because it looks kind of cool. It's nice to have that sort of stuff. Many times those apps, especially the ones that seem too good to be true, all they are backdoors for stealing your data. Email is the most widely used tool to compromise data security. It's a low-hanging fruit. The truth is, hackers by nature are actually very lazy people that really don't have to work hard for what it is that they're getting. So if they can do something, if they can send out 1 million emails with malicious content or malicious link, all they're really interested in is that 100 people click on it. They're not really interested that 1 million people have actually clicked on it. And really and truly is, as a hacker, they actually don't want to be in your environment, because if they're in your environment, then the likelihood of getting caught increases. So if they can do it remotely, it's much better for them. And they do that by email, by sending an email with a compromised link or a compromised attachment. So always think before you click on any form of attachments that with any email at all. I'll actually take a step back and say to you, think before you even open the email. Because I've seen situations today where the email will come with an attachment, but the attachment is a self-executing attachment. So once you click on the email itself, the attachment executes in the background, steals your data. I know there's a practice that, you know, especially for people who use Outlook, to have the preview pane of the email up and running, because it makes life easier. It is, because you can quickly glance at the preview pane and say, all right, this is what it's about, and you can make a decision about whether to act or not to act. I'd actually recommend that you turn it off, because those self-executing emails actually run once the preview pane comes up. Another thing that you want to do is you want to keep your systems up to date. You want to ensure that the applications that are running on your devices, whether it's your phone, your tablet, or your computer, are up to date. Nearly all the time a vendor releases an update, it's nearly always to fix a security hole. Oftentimes, it's, you know, a small portion of the time is for functionality. If they're going to release functionality, they actually release a new version of the application. But once they publish an update for the application, nearly all the time, it is a security-related hole that they're trying to fix. There are so many vulnerabilities that exist today with so many applications that, you know, you have to, as soon as a newer version comes out, you want to ensure that you keep your system up to date and install the latest versions of software. It's often you have applications or you have data on your devices, and the usage of that data is just, you know, you have it just because. No, don't keep data on your machine just because you need to have it on there. Because it becomes unused over time, it becomes old and you forget about it, and then the next time you remember about it is when you're in the headlines, because, you know, suddenly company data is out there, your machine was compromised, and you remember, oh, I had this folder on my machine. One of the things that we recommend is that once you're done, you set expiration on the data sets that you're using. So once you're done with something, after the reasonable reporting period has passed, move it, archive it into a secure location, an offsite storage or something like that. Now, backup is often not associated with security. It's often associated with other components of IT. But backup is actually a very important component in security. If we think back to the security triad, backup is affected by the availability component of that triad. Now, think of if, for argument's sake, you've suffered a compromise of any kind, and your data, you know, becomes corrupt or lost or anything like that. The absence of a functioning or a proper backup means that the data is no longer available. it means that the system is no longer available. It means that the application is no longer available. And you have failed the availability component of the triad, and therefore you have failed data security. So it's very important to have verifiable backups. Don't just back up your data and say, all right, fine, I'll copy these files over to this folder, I'll run the backup process in this application, and it has copied the file and stored them in a location, in a secure location. Always verify them. We've seen an example where we were called in to investigate a compromise, and the compromise was so bad that we said to the customer, look, give me a backup set, let's start to recover from the backup set. And they diligently showed us the log of their backups. You know, the backup happened every night. You know, the technician checked it off that it was backed up and so on. But when we went to the backup was actually compromised as well. So they're ticking it off that it's being backed up, but nobody is checking to say, is this backup a backup of the compromised data? It just so happens that it was backup of the compromised data, but the backup runs and it says it's completed successfully, and they tick the box. Yes, we've backed up our data. One of the things that I'd recommend here also is that security awareness training, one of the things that we try to do is we try to connect it personally. I know a lot of times, you know, people are doing their jobs and they kind of abstract their work life from their personal life. So one of the things that we do is we try to connect security and data security in particular to your own personal situation. So we'll talk about things like, consider things like how would a compromise of your bank accounts affect you personally, right? And think about all the emotions and everything that goes with that. You know, you can't pay a mortgage and all of that sort of stuff. Think about what will happen if that exact same compromise would happen in the company's bank accounts. People can't get paid, suppliers can't get paid, and that sort of stuff. So one of the things I do, if you try to connect it on a personal level, and you see the gravity or the impact of the situation personally, then it's easier to translate that into business. Achieving data security is not a line in the sand that you draw and you say, boy, all right, I've done all of these things, so my data is now secure. It's a continual process. You have to keep assessing. You have to keep looking at your data needs, your data assets, and saying, all right, is the risk that we face today the same tomorrow? And you have to continually improve. It's a process of continual improvement. I think in security in the security circles we have a common thought that there are really just two types of businesses in the world: those who have been hacked and those who don't know they've been hacked. And that's a reality. It takes about, the average security incident takes about 30 days to be discovered. And for companies that their pockets are, you know, they're deep and they're invested in it, it may take another 180 days to recover from it. So it could be up to a year in many instances that you don't even know that you've been compromised. Many businesses don't ever recover from a compromise. So to achieve data security, do something. There are many things on the list that are simple to do. They are low-hanging fruits. Just do them. Because doing something is much better than doing nothing and assuming that you've never had a compromise.
The way the technology is going now, it's not even a race for relevance. It's a race for survival. Because if you're not with it, you're going to die. Right? In fact, you have to be savvy. So I was tempted to come up here with paper, but I make sure I come with the iPhone. Because if you go anywhere you're presenting now from paper, you're not cutting it. So sometimes you don't have anything on the phone and you carry it up here, so, right? And some people do it, you know that? Yeah, man, them walk up with the phone and, yes, and moving and touching on the phone, right? But it's the look, right? And it's the image. And we're going to talk about the image because we really have to change it. Because obviously technology affords us to do things cheaper, more efficient, all of the above in terms of that. So there are some opportunities there for us finance people. So what's the imperative of our finance professional? First of all, we have to apprise ourselves with the technology that's available across. Right? We're going to discuss some of them, but what I'm saying is that whatever we can do in this small window cannot replace the plethora of different applications that are out there. So as a finance professional within your industry, you have to be researching, talking to IT, looking overseas to ensure that you're aware what is out there companies are going through rapid technological change. It's emotionally charged. Every day you hear that there's a list coming out, and you wonder if you're named upon the list. Nobody understand what I'm talking about? It's reality, right? So when we're doing technological changes, right, it calls for proper leadership. And it can happen in many ways. You can even get sabotaged. Because if you don't treat people well, they can sabotage you in the transformation process. So this managing of the organizational impact is key. And I would recommend that if it is major enough, get what we call change management help. Right? You may need people who are adept at change management to guide you through this process. Focus on talent and skills. Very critical. The skills that we needed yesterday and the talent are not necessarily what we need today and going forward. And that's one of the challenges that we have. Some tough decisions may have to be taken, and we may have to redeploy people. But you have to make sure that we have the right talent and skill to take their organization forward based on the new technologies that we are applying. Cashier-free store. Real. Amazon has this. You have an Amazon card. You just walk into the store, you swipe, go in, take what you want, leave, and the process send the bill to you. Nobody's involved. Understand that implications for that. In fact, a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was in Israel and on a tour. And in there you can do the Israel tour. It's a very good tour. But we stopped at a gas station with the tour guide and put the nozzle in his tank, full up, drove out. Asked him, nobody was involved. He explained to me that the nozzle has a microchip, and so does the car tank. The amount of gas that he's taking is recorded, transmitted by a bill to his company from the gas station. Nobody involved. Right? So I saw that, and it wasn't even last year, this is over 2 years ago. This is a sign of where we are and where we are going. So I'm just putting these things up there. And if you want to research it, fine. But I'm just trying to tell you, because we used to talk about the future. The Heptones have a song that said, the future is here, my dear. Because the future is here. So all that we're talking about, we used to talk about their emerging technologies. Nah, the technology is here. We have to be very cognizant of social media. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm on all of them. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. Because we have communicated and keeping in touch with your team members, knowing what they're doing, your children, your niece and nephew and all of that, this social media thing. So I'm saying to us as chartered accountants, don't have any phobia about it. Get with the program. So our job is not to be fearful of what is happening. Our job is to adapt to the change and make sure that we can perform as professionals under the new systems. Right? Our brain, Tavi. In fact, let's say a man's brain, it start work from in his mother's womb and don't stop work at all right until adulthood. When a man's brain stop work, when his wife asks him, where were you last night, honey? That's the only time a man's brain stop work. Right? But seriously, the computers cannot really replace us. But they will make us redundant if we don't adapt to change. So in summary, as I said before, I didn't intend to give you a technical presentation. I really want to give you what you call a reality check to make sure that you understand that these technologies, I mean, I've been part of change process for a number of years, but never before have I seen so much coming at me in a short space of time. You understand? It's not like one time when you have a time, you don't have no room for error. It's coming, right? Rapid, rapid, rapid. And I'm saying, as accountants, we have to deal with it, grasp opportunities, make things better for ourselves and the organization, and just don't let the bus leave us. All in all, before wrapping up, the question is, are you ready? And I hope you are ready.
PwC is a sponsor here today. Talk to us about that partnership?
Yeah, but at PwC, we are very happy to sponsor this conference. The Institute, we have been sponsoring it a few years now. We think it's a very important conference for accountants to maintain their relevance in a very dynamic environment. We think it's value for money to get all stakeholders on board on a conference like this, to share some very good ideas, cover some good topics. So we are always on board and we'll continue to be on board with it.
Today you are also a presenter. Speak to us about the main points of your presentation.
The topic of my presentation was professional accountants maintaining relevance in the digital age. So it's all to do with us as accountants moving with the pace of technology, because we all know technology is taking over almost everything. So we have to ensure that we take steps to make sure that we are relevant. There are opportunities, there are challenges. So my presentation covered a number of emerging technologies: artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, cyber security, cloud computing, number of different areas. Encouraging the accountants to get on board, familiarize yourself with all these technologies to ensure that you can function properly in the digital age.
Outside of functioning properly in the digital age, what advice would you give young professionals who want to become accountants?
Well, it's a noble profession. I don't think there's a profession that gives you the wide insight into businesses as auditing and accounting. It's really broad-based. I would encourage youngsters to take a serious look at it. I think career choice is very critical. You have to look at something that you have the aptitude for, something that can pay your bills, and something that you like, because those three have to go together. So that's my advice. I'm not going to go to say everybody must turn an accountant. Do the research and make sure. But I'm telling you that's an attractive profession. It's a plethora because of activities, because you have auditors, you have forensic auditors, you have internal auditors, you have financial analysts, chief accountants. So there's a wide range in the profession that you can get into.
Taking the pain out of the audit preparation. Crow Jamaica now offers audit management services, AMS. With AMS, Crow team manages your external audit process by providing the following. 1. Prepare and review schedules for your external auditors. 2. Prepare responses to your external audit team queries. 3. Assign our team members to locate supporting documents during field work. 4. Draft financial statements in accordance with IFRS to supply to your external auditors. 5. Provide guidance to your internal accounting staff regarding classification and recording of transactions. 6. Review your general ledger for accuracy. 7. Prepare necessary journal entries. 8. Prepare fixed asset register. 9. Prepare accounting and operational manual for effective internal control. 10. Liaise with the company external auditors. We work with your team to achieve timely and effective external audits, resulting in timely completion of your audited financial statement, while your current staff focuses on their daily activities. Contact us, info@crowhorwath.com.jm. Website, www.crow.com/jm.
I'm pleased to be here to talk to you about T-Tech. T-Tech is the first company to be listed on the Junior Stock Exchange and as an IT firm, and we provide managed services to persons in the IT space. So if you have network servers to be managed, we will look after that for you, provide a service desk. We also help you to implement your cybersecurity program.
Why did you decide to be a sponsor here today?
Well, one, we work closely with members of financial profession because they tend to also supervise IT professionals, and also we recognize that the financial profession needs to understand the importance of cybersecurity.
Give us some clarity on BPOs and share some benefits.
Well, in terms of clarity, overall it's an industry that's very people-centric. So it hires a lot of folks, and it also enables their growth and development. And if I were to think of some what you'd call advantages of the industry, I would say, simply put, it creates options that are not limited by age, race, nationality, or any other factor that usually impacts corporate America. In my example, personally, I was a vice president at age 25 in a Fortune 500 company. There's not many industries that take that kind of a chance on someone who is young and who does not necessarily meet the status quo. These conferences from a BPO perspective, for me, the biggest advantage is there's a lot of negative perception and a lot of negative press out there about the industry. And what it does, it deters people who could really have an impact to come in and succeed. So from functions like this, my intention is always to correct those myths and to ensure that people view the industry in a positive light, because it is indeed a positive industry.
So talk to us about CPA Canada. What do you guys do?
Sure. CPA Canada, CPA, Chartered Professional Accountants of Canada. We are Canada's national accounting designation. But as much as I say Canada, we are 100% recognized globally. As such, we are affiliate members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica and recognized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean. Basically, if someone wants to become an accountant, they usually do a first degree, sometimes they choose to do a second. But at some point in time, they need to become a qualified accountant. Accountancy, like other professions, are highly governed, and as a result, one needs to choose a designation to qualify under. CPA Canada is one such option. It is 100% available to persons who are living in Jamaica. Fortunately, it's 2018, and there's no longer the need to actually go to Canada to earn the designation. Someone can actually sit in Jamaica, continue working, enjoy their family life, and study at the same time. This is actually our second year as a sponsor of the ICAJ conference. It's a great opportunity for us to maintain connections and ties and support our members who are based in Jamaica. So some of these persons who are present here today are actually Canadian CPAs active in Jamaica. And it's also a good touch point for the younger ones who are still undecided as to what designations they want to do. And for those who are qualified, we have a lot of certificate programs that they can now subscribe to. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I particularly like this conference because it's not just 100% accounting topics per se, which can get very technical. It's more of a business conference and really touches issues that are affecting us in the business community today.
Speak to us about the mandate of the ICAJ.
So the ICAJ is the institute that governs the accounting profession. So our members are those persons who have qualified in accountancy to earn the designation as chartered accountants. So essentially our job is to engage with those members, help manage them through their career, and to provide for new members a training of students and the coaching and mentorship of students so that they can become chartered accountants one day. So this is a business conference, and the theme is meant to be there for covering non-accounting issues, because we're trying to attract an audience other than our traditional membership. So the last 3 years, we've done the Megatrends hashtag. So that's why it's 3.0, Megatrends 3.0. The feedback has been extremely positive. I think people like the topics. I've got very positive feedback on the speakers themselves. There's good energy in the room, there's good buzz. So from that perspective, the conference has met our objectives. We have probably our largest delegate list ever, just over 300 people. There are about 50 people online. So from a total attendance, yes, it probably has checked that box. From a diversity of the persons who are attending, I think we've fallen a bit short. So we need to figure out how we bring more people into the discussion. This is not intended to be focused only on accountants. So to the extent that we wanted to see more bankers, attorneys, other professions, engineers. We have a topic coming up on the environment and disposal of plastics and how we manage plastics in our economy, what challenges and opportunities that present. That's not an accounting discussion. That's a discussion that anyone who lives and works in Jamaica should be interested in. And so diversity, I think we can improve that. From a production perspective, I think, again, this year we have done a better job than prior years. So we're continuously improving, but I think we can still take the production level up a notch. We want it to be a really high impact type of conference. So you feel as if at the moment you walk in that this is something new and different every year. So we're going to work on those two aspects in the future.
There you have it, another staging of the ICAJ Business Conference. I've been your host, Amita Prasad Webb, and thank you for watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
The Caribbean is a rich biodiversity hotspot. It has over 11,000 plant species, and about 72 of these are found only in this region. This richness also extends to the Caribbean people. Their traditional knowledge of the region's varied natural resources has integrated nature into the economic and health sectors worldwide. It has also drawn many to research and use the region's biodiversity for medicinal, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical purposes. For example, the glaucoma medication Canasol is made from cannabis. However, Caribbean islands have fallen prey to biopiracy, where a country's resources are accessed and developed commercially, but the country gets little or no benefit from it. As the world benefits from the Caribbean's biodiversity, countries need to be compensated for their commercial use. Lawmakers need to ensure that their countries are legally prepared to give access to and benefits from commercial use of genetic resources. To ensure prior informed consent and mutually agreed terms of access established by the Nagoya Protocol, the Global Environment Facility, GEF, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, are jointly providing support to countries at different levels in order to advance towards functional access and benefit sharing. Under the Nagoya Protocol, countries from which natural resources are obtained for commercial developments are entitled to compensation. It also ensures indigenous knowledge from groups such as the Maroons, Rastafarians, and Amerindians can be credited and compensated if their traditional knowledge has been used for commercial purposes. Caribbean islands are putting the Nagoya Protocol in their legislative framework to safeguard their country's biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Let us all work together to protect our resources, do valuable research, and reap the benefits of sustainable bioprospecting in the region.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got the chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs. They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goals.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the Hope program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
On this episode of Chill Spot, we'll be spending some time with Roberto Gallardo, Managing Director at Celebration Brands Limited. He'll be showing us his favorite pastimes, which include running and then chilling at Cafe Da Vinci, a classic Italian-style restaurant in the heart of Kingston. So don't go anywhere, more after this. Hi Roberto, I'm Candy.
Hello Candy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So what are we going to be doing today?
Well, we will have some run today.
We're going to run?
Yes.
Not for long, right?
A little bit, like 5 kilometers, something like that.
So that's a 5K. That's
Yes,
what
5K,
people call a 5K.
yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that. But then we're going to eat after that.
Yes, a little
Where are
bit.
we going to be eating?
I like the Italian food. We will have Cafe Da Vinci.
Okay, great. So let's talk about this run though. How long have you been running?
Since 5 years ago, I start to make some training and
Right.
try to raise some competitions.
Okay, so does that mean you're running professionally now, or are you just still doing it kind of
No,
leisurely
it's not
just to keep
professional,
fit?
but at least get the medal from some races, yes.
So what's your most recent race?
Well, the last one was the Miami half marathon. I ran there.
What about the Reggae Marathon out here? You did that
I
one?
ran the half marathon in here in Jamaica, in Madrid.
So did you place?
I get the medal.
You got a medal, and
I
that's
get the
what
medal.
counts.
Yeah, that's the main game
Right.
here. Yeah, actually a very good experience. It's the first time that I actually ran in this type of heat.
Right.
And,
Yes, it's tough,
and
man.
it was tough, but at the end, like I said, the main game is to finalize, get your medal, and
Right.
the satisfaction that you get because you have to train.
What are the benefits of running now? And like how we're going to be running for so long, tell me what I need to do to prepare for a run like that.
Well, it helps you not just your health. You can clear your mind when you have the run, when you have that experience. You can think, what do you need to improve? What do you need to change?
Right. So are there other ways that you work out? Do you go to the gym or do you just?
I normally go to the gym, but if you ask me my passion, it have the run.
Run,
Yeah.
the running.
Yes, yes.
All right, so do we have to stretch and warm up before we run?
Definitely. Well, first of all, we need to tighten our shoes.
Okay, I tied mine already. I tied mine already, so I'm ready, but let's go.
Okay,
Let's go.
perfect.
So I take it that run was easy for you since you don't seem like you're out of breath. No. And I'm dying.
It's a good run. It was a good run.
Okay, so the most important thing after a run is to hydrate, yes?
Yes, definitely.
All right, so we're going to be getting some food now.
Yeah.
And we're going to be meeting up at Cafe Da Vinci.
Perfect.
All right, great.
Okay, good job.
Thank you. Coming up. Would you say you love your job?
Yes, definitely.
There's no work without passion, right?
Yeah, definitely. You need to have that because if not, you will not achieve results. That's a fact.
Hello, my name is Blake Widmer. I'm the co-founder of Deaf Can Coffee. The exposure that we had to the just general community through Business Access TV itself is awesome. It was a big deal for them, you know, having BATV come here, and we spent, I mean, we were with you guys for probably 4 hours that day. It was a long time. We really appreciate your guys' openness to recognize that, yeah, captions are important. If a deaf person's watching it, how are they gonna understand what's being said? So looking back is just a big boost, encouragement for our team. If you're a business or an organization that wants to have yourselves featured on BATV, or you want to do advertising with BATV, what I would tell them is that you guys listen well and you ask good questions, and that will help, at the end of the day, deliver a really good product for your business too.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Hi again, Roberto.
Hello, Candy. How are you?
Hi, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay.
So we're going to be having Italian food.
Yeah, I love it.
Tell me a little about this restaurant.
Well, actually, I find this restaurant since 2 years ago. But I like the food.
You like the food?
Yeah, I like very good.
What's your favorite thing on the menu?
Any type of pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah, I like the pizza, yes.
The pizza here is good.
Yeah. You want something to drink?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So you're the managing director at CBL. Tell us what that entails. What do you have to do on a day-to-day?
Okay, well, CBL is a son, I will say like that, from two big companies here in Jamaica, from Pepsi-Cola Jamaica and from Red Stripe. And my job is try to maintain the balance between the three of us.
Right.
We have around 500 persons working with us in CBL. We are a company that actually make the sales and distribution for the both main companies. And my job is to try to help the people to drive the job and to try to achieve the results. That's the main game here.
Would you say you love your job?
Yes, Yes, definitely.
There's no work without passion, right?
Yeah, definitely. You need to have that because if not, you will not achieve results. That's a fact. I have an excellent team. Actually, you know that one person cannot make the things happen.
How did you get started at CBL?
Well, actually, when I was in Guatemala, I am working in logistics and operations part. And part of the owners of PCJ here in Jamaica, they talked with me and they offered the opportunity to come to Jamaica and to try to work with the people in Jamaica to put CBL in a different level. It's kind of different job because here I saw the entire company, not just logistics, and that's a challenge. But at the end, I accept the challenge and I try to make my best.
And so far, so good, right?
So far, so good. we have a very good 2015. The first thing that we actually discussed when I came in January last year is that we need to join and work together and to try to understand that yes, we have difference. We came from two different companies that have different cultures. Plus that, we need to understand that we have some Jamaican people, some Salvadorian people, some Guatemalan people. We need to put all that together and try to actually extract the best things. In the beginning, it was a little challenging, but now I can say that we are in a better position. We know each other. We know that we need to work like as a team, because if we don't work as a team, we will not help the company to drive the result. Yes. I believe that the people actually start to understand what we need to improve to put this company in the level that we want. We want to make this company the best sales and distribution company in this country.
Right. Well, you know, Jamaica is a Pepsi country.
Yeah, definitely. And when you have the most strong brands together, you need to do something good or excellent to have this one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Red Stripe and Pepsi, that's a good combo. How do you see yourself affecting change in the industry that you're in?
I will separate in two. One is an internal challenge. That means that CBL just have around 3 years old of existence, and you need to work with the company culture. You need to build that. Plus that, CBL has a lot of changes in the exec team. They start with someone and they change and I come over, and they are trying to face that, and that's a main challenge. We are working on that. We are not in the state that we want, but we're in our way. The other one is the external one. Jamaica, the entire countries in the world haven't changed. Yeah, you have political change now. In the industry, we have that. We have a better competition, different type of brands, different type of products that we need to keep very close, because we want to keep going and to keep doing our job as the first companies here, because like we said, we have the most strong brands in this company, but we need to work every single day to maintain that, to try to say we are the best since 10 years ago, and we want to be the best 10 years move forward. Yeah. We need to learn what is each one of us position, what we need to do in that position to help drive that result. We want to win the gold medal.
Right.
That's the main game, and we want to win consistently, not one time, because we want to be the best. We want to be the best company in this country.
What would you change to make Jamaica more business friendly to our international partners?
Well, I think that as a country, we need to review our policies, the speed of change, the entire change.
Right.
We need to understand that if we don't open the country to the different variants that we have in the world, we will have troubles to connect to the world. Because at the end, we are in an island. We need to maintain our connection with outside, but we need to give them the confidence that in Jamaica we do the things correct, excellent, in the best way, trying to achieve the better results. And if we can put that in our people, in our Jamaican people, we can change. And we can be the best, because at the end, I live here. I am a Jamaican.
Right.
Definitely.
You're one of us.
Yeah.
What are some tips that you can give us on changing countries, on changing cultures, on that whole migration process to make that, you know, smoother?
Well, I can say one, you need to keep your mind open. You need to know that you need to learn, not the other one.
Not the other way around.
Because you are the new one.
Exactly.
You are the new kids on the block. You need to learn from the people. You need to find good people that you can learn from them and to try to understand the entire environment. I want to learn from this country. I want to know places, people, culture, traditions, all that kind of stuff. And food, for example, we have a different type of food also. And with that, we need to work with that. I need to understand that I will not get a tortilla here. That is a very common thing in my country. But I will get some jerk chicken.
Right.
And I need to work with that, yes.
Right. Okay. Well, speaking of lunch and food, I think we're going to be having lunch outside on the terrace.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much.
Coming up.
We can have maybe between 10, 12 or 15 persons running for the presidents.
We only have two.
And
And
for
it's a
me,
problem.
Yeah, but imagine that. You can relate there?
Yeah, I can't imagine the political tension then if it's, you know, 12 to 15 parties. Wow.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Hi, my name is Diane Plummer and I'm the Managing Director for Your True Shade. So the program that I participated in was Creating Wealth, and it would give viewers an idea of the different processes in Your True Shade, taking the products from the raw materials to the production and then finally to the consumer. Being on Business Access TV has definitely impacted my business because since the feature was aired, I got a lot of calls asking about the products, where they can get products, and asking additional information as well. Another thing that I did was to actually link the video to my social media posts so that persons can actually learn more about the brand. So for persons considering BATV, I would definitely recommend it because you will definitely see the payoff for it. Persons will definitely be interested in finding out more about you as well as your brand.
Roberto, talk to us about your childhood.
I was born in Guatemala. I raised in Guatemala City. I am the second or third.
Okay.
I have a big sister and a young brother. I play football, basketball, volleyball, whatever you name it, I can say.
So you're very active then,
yes,
obviously.
Yes, and I like the music.
Music.
Yeah, I play the drums.
Oh, you play too?
Yes, I play the drums.
Roberto, you do know what you're things.
Yeah, I play a little bit guitar.
Okay.
But the drums was my thing.
That's your thing.
Yeah, I can pass 4 or 5 hours.
Just playing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. right, so tell us about your family.
Okay, I have a wife, Maria Jose.
She's also from Guatemala.
She's also
Okay.
from Guatemala. I know her in a church. We was a couple just like 1 year and a half, and then we decided to get married.
Okay.
Very young. We have three children.
3?
They are my life, actually.
Obviously, yeah. I guess the oldest one would have experienced the change most significantly. You know, how are they adjusting?
I said to them that maybe I am the most interested to get back to Guatemala. Not them. They are happy here. They are doing
You're the only
a
one.
lot of things here. They have a lot of friends. They go to the related houses. My wife have a lot of friends. They spend a lot of time doing
So everybody
PR.
has adjusted well.
Yeah, they are the PR people. I am working here. They are the one that are actually making
But that's
progress.
nice to know that everybody has settled in well.
You have a very beautiful culture.
Right.
We are good here. Actually, I love to be here.
I'm so glad that you've enjoyed your experience so far. What would you say are some of the other differences then between Guatemala and Jamaica?
The weather is different.
Yeah.
We can start with that.
So you guys are cold out?
Yeah, we have a lot of, for example, volcanoes. We have some active volcanoes.
Active volcanoes?
Yeah, yeah. Guatemala is an Spanglish. I will say Spanglish.
I was
Why?
just about to say Spanglish meaning
Yeah.
Spanish and
Yeah,
English.
we have a lot of influence from the American culture.
But the language spoken in Guatemala is Spanish. Okay.
You can realize that the people use a lot of English words to merge with the Spanish thing
Right.
and drive the conversation like that.
Right.
But we are a country that speaks Spanish, but we also have 22 dialects
Okay.
separately. When you talk about politics, we can have maybe between 10, 12 or 15 persons running for the presidents. You need to
As
pick.
in political parties?
Yes, yes.
10, 12 and 15?
Yes.
Oh, we only
Yeah.
have 2.
That and
And
for
it's a
me,
problem.
yeah, but imagine that. Yeah, you can relate there.
Yeah, I can't imagine
How
the political tension then if it's, 12 to 15 parties. Wow, wow. All right, now on a lighter note, would you like to share with us an embarrassing or awkward moment that you've experienced, maybe in Jamaica or otherwise?
Well, yes, I have one. This was my first town hall with the people on CBL, with the company. In my intention to actually share something with them, I tried to put an example using Usain Bolt.
Oh, no, it's insane.
Nobody get that. And I start to sweat because I don't get the connection.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew what I'm talking about. Simon Tacter, who is my HR
Right.
director, came to me and said, "What do you need to say?"
What are you trying to say?
And I show the script. Oh, it's Usain Bolt.
And I'm sure it would have connected if people realized.
Yeah, I need to start over the entire thing because I need to connect and to make the sense of this. But we are used to in Guatemala and Central America to name it like that. It's
Right.
Usain because
Right,
it's in the
to
Spanish
pronounce it.
in the Spanish sense. But that's for
Not
me
here.
awful. It's
Yeah.
awful because to connect to the people.
Right, you need to say it the way we pronounce it, right?
And actually that gave me a hard time, but at least I learned
But you're
something.
adjusting,
Yeah,
and you
I
learned something.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Roberto, thanks so much for taking us to your chill spot. I've enjoyed the day. Running, it was like the perfect day. You run, you do some exercising, and then you eat some good food, right?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
So thank you very much.
No, thank you, Candy. Thank you for having me. And for me, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to share this with you and to have this experience in Jamaica.
Thank you. Great food, good conversation, and a little bit of physical activity pretty much sums up how I spent my day. Thanks, of course, to Roberto Gallardo, Managing Director at Celebration Brands Limited, for sharing with us how he spends his leisure time. And until next Friday, I'm Candy for Chill Spot. Bye! On this episode of Chill Spot, we'll be spending some time with Roberto Gallardo, Managing Director at Celebration Brands. Wow. So, I start everything with so. I need to stop that.
Hi everyone, I'm Roberto Gallardo from Celebration Brands, and I will be with...
Yes, I will have this thing I can't pronounce. Linguine ai gamberi. So it's shrimp pasta.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
According to Barbara Blake Hanna, director of the Jamaica International Film Festival, people come to Jamaica to make films simply and primarily because Jamaica is world famous as a place where the culture, music, scenery, and history provide multiple opportunities for films of all kinds to be made. With movies like Harder They Come, Rockers, Dancehall Queen, and many more, the Jamaican film industry has what it takes to become one of the premier destinations for film production. But what is really happening? We will chit-chat with 3 filmmakers positioning themselves for success. Storm Salter, a graduate of the Los Angeles Film School, released his debut feature, the award-winning film Better Must Come, in 2011. The actor, writer, and director is now the filmmaker in residence for the academic year of 2014 to 2015 at the University of the West Indies. Your award-winning debut film, Better Must Come, was well received. Tell us about the process that brought it to life.
I was just very fascinated with the 1970s. Very interested in like Cold War and geopolitics, that type of thing. And in my research on that globally, I kind of really discovered what happened in Jamaica in the 70s, in the even 60s leading up to that. And I realized it was something I never learned in school, something that they don't teach kids, our recent post-colonial history, which is the reason we are formed as a nation as we are. They don't teach that. So I'm like, well, we need to find a way to step into this world. And if nothing else, you know, my Better Must Come is about a single character or group of characters in a particular story, in a particular time, in a particular community in the late 1970s. But what it is, I think, is a window in or foot into the door of what that is. And now you can jump onto YouTube or look at documentaries, look at, you know, and start to learn about our own recent history, you know, which is very relevant to understanding who we are right now.
You were the film's director, yes, screenwriter, yeah, and director of photography. Why so many roles?
That's just the way I guess I create so far. I wrote the screenplay because it didn't exist yet, and I had to write it. And sometimes you end up becoming a writer, not because it's your natural approach, but because you need a story. You know what I mean? And but I'm a cinematographer and I'm a director, and those are two things I always do together. They're kind of inseparable for me.
Was Better Must Come your project with the biggest budget?
Feature films just require a lot to get made, even when you're doing it very inexpensively and very guerrilla and very low budget. You're moving, you have a lot of people, you have a lot of manpower, you have a lot of, and woman power too. You have a lot of moving parts, time, editing, costuming, feeding people, you know what I mean, promoting the work. So, I mean, it's quite an undertaking.
How was Better Must Come financed?
Better Must Come had an executive producer, a set of executive producers, investors. Was very fortunate to create a story and then have people that basically, on reading it and on knowing it and on believing in my ability, saying yes, let's finance this and do it. So yeah, I had an investor that pretty much raised the funding to do it. But then on the other end, I did a film along with the New Caribbean Cinema Collective. We did a film together called Ring the Alarm, which is a collection of short stories by all the different directors. And those, we put them together as a feature film. So in the end, it was presented as a feature film. But we made it in a way that was very low budget. All the individual pieces were shot in a single day, and it cost us way less, and we basically paid out of our own pockets, you know what I mean? And that was a feature film that was made for maybe, I don't know, 12,000 US.
Describe the filmmaking process, or at least the way you go about doing it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I'm sometimes, I don't, thank God when you have good producers and like good crews, because they are able to create the structure around which you as the like creative voice can exist. So I don't like too much. I don't like a lot of the technical and organizational duties of like what it takes to put a production together. I like to just be creative all the time if I could. I like to think about the shots, I like to shoot, I like to design the cinematography, I like to think about the story, I like to work with actors, I like to just vibe and be in a zone and find myself in a creative space so I can make the right decisions at the moment when the work is being captured to create great work. You know, filmmaking is not a singular thing. I mean, the director is like the captain of the ship and kind of the one responsible for the overall creative delivery of the thing. But at the end of the day, you need a really good team of people. I mean, the better your team is, the better the work.
How do you choose your team of people?
I just always continue to work with people that I like working with, that do well on set.
Should a filmmaker be formally trained?
Look, filmmakers have to be trained one way or the other, whether it is in film school or by taking workshops or taking a course, or not, and just by working on set and working from the basic job of maybe being a production assistant and watching how it's done, and then having working under someone, because one way or the other, even when you go to film school and leave and get onto set, you still start your education right there again. So it doesn't have to happen. I've worked with great filmmakers that have not had formal training, right? And so it's not a necessity, but you're either gonna try and fail and try again and fail and learn that way. I mean, one way or the other, great filmmakers, people making good work, they get there by some form of training.
Should more be done to teach film making locally?
Yeah, definitely there should be more done, but I feel like there definitely is a lot of energy underway to do so. I know at UWI, it's happening.
What advice would you give to newcomers who want to get into the industry?
It's possible to get in there. I mean, as we said earlier, getting the camera equipment and the sound gear is not very hard. There's an abundance of technical filmmaking talent here in terms of there is great camera operators, cinematographers, directors, sound people, musicians. I mean, all the pieces are here. You just have to work on having a great idea. And with the New Caribbean Cinema model, it was very much about, with no money, how do we create something? And that model was we created stories that were short, that could be achieved in a single day. And therefore, we could go to our peers that have a mutual vision of moving forward Caribbean cinema and say, look, let's give us a day. The actors want to be on screen, crew is down to work, everybody wants to play their role and create something that's as lasting as film. So, and within a day or 2 days, they'll do it for free. So we just figured out a methodology that took the money element out of it. And that's always very helpful. And I think people don't need to sit back and say, I can't do it because of the money. Okay, you can't do that idea. Don't give up on the idea that costs a lot of money to make. Just think of other ideas that are achievable now. Because you take one step towards something, it takes 2 steps towards you. And that's something very real. That's going in the positive and in the negative. You know what I'm saying? So if you just do the work, you're either going to create something great, or you're going to create something that was kind of okay, but you learn what was not right, and then you focus on that. Then when you wheel and come again, now you come again with everything more intact. You know, I had to make things that weren't as good as I thought they were to then make something that was good.
If nothing else, Jamaica should be producing more than 1 feature film every 5 years.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Wait, Rasta, what are you doing inside there? Remove ya!
Allison Harrison, a filmmaker and owner of Factory 75, a motion picture film company, had a chit-chat with us about being a local filmmaker.
I was studying math, physics, and computer science. And one day, a friend of mine invited me to a show at the Philip Sherlock Center for the Creative Arts. And I saw what was going on with the lights and the sound, and I was just like, how do you get into this? And they invited me to come by for a rehearsal. And I joined one of the societies there, the Dramatic Arts Society. And from there, it's just been, that was, I think, where all of this passion comes from. After leaving UWI, I went and I worked at the CPTC, the Creative Production and Training Center. And while there, I got exposed to cameras, lights, set life. And I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. How, like, what else is there to learn? And from CPTC, I worked there for 3 years. And then I applied to film school, and then I went away. I came back home. People are asking me why. I'm like, why are you here? You should be in New York, you should be in LA. I worked freelance in the industry with other filmmakers doing sound predominantly, sound recording. But I wanted to explore the other departments on set. I wanted to shoot, I wanted to, edit and do other things. So I just decided to start doing that. And since then, Factory 75 was born. I have worked with organizations such as Virgin Unite, Virgin Holidays, the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship Caribbean, Digital Foundation. What I find is that most of my corporate work is with companies with philanthropic components to their organization. So I find, and I enjoy doing that. I enjoy working with the children in the school and just recording their stories and being able to document and tell those stories. So most of my work really has been with those organizations.
Allison talks to us about the stages of production.
The idea stage, where you're fleshing it out. Then once you feel like you have a good idea, then you write a treatment, and then you write a script, depending on the project that you're doing. It could be a music video, it could be a short film, documentary, etc., etc. You have to then go ahead and write your script. And then once you have your script down and your characters, then you go ahead and you cast. After you've cast, then you rehearse with your cast, and then you plan your production and you shoot for however long. And then you go into post-production, and post-production is a whole other ball game. You have the first cut, which is just stitching it together according to the script. And then the editor and the director or producer will then sit down and rework it so that what you've shot on set, you could be telling a completely different story in post.
Producing content in Jamaica is expensive, but sometimes the investment is worth it.
If nothing else, Jamaica should be producing more than one feature film every 5 years. If anything, Jamaica should be at a place where it is building the capacity of its filmmakers and its creatives and supporting the filmmakers so much that we are pushing out films like 20 years, we are pushing out films like 5 films every month. You know, so it's we just have to make film, we just have to make sure. You have to, as you know, as I mentioned before, you have to want it. You have to want it, regardless of the setbacks and the times that people tell you no, and you just have to want it. Like at the core of anything, that's the core, that's the essence. You have to want it, and when you want it, it's amazing how things manifest itself. You know, how you are able to get around the obstacles. So you have to want it. You have to be open to criticism. You have to also be open to learning new things and learning outside of being on set, reading articles, reading books, discovering new filmmakers, researching the older ones, the ones that, you know, made film what it is. I will always reference Alfred Hitchcock. He is one of my mentors in terms of how he makes films. So I read a lot about him. But you have to, reading and research, these are things that are like mandatory. It's like you wake up and, you know, you shower, you go to work. It's supposed to be a part of your routine as a filmmaker, as a content producer. You must be reading, you must be current on what's happening, and you must know what happened before. You know, for me, it helps me to focus, because if especially the personal stories of these filmmakers, locally and internationally, you hear, you know, their stories of struggle. The struggle is real, you know, but the struggle empowers, and the struggle fuels the passion, especially for me. So I'm not saying I enjoy the struggle, I don't say, but it is definitely fuel. It fuels me. It pushes me to go even further and further and further, and to discover new things and to learn new things and meet new people.
Coming up next, Kurt Wright.
Characteristics that lend themselves to filmmaking is probably creativity, being open-minded, and definitely a whole lot of patience.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
A graduate of the New York Institute of Technology, Kurt Wright is a local filmmaker who has worked on over 300 projects.
I went to school in New York for 4 years at the New York Institute of Technology. I studied communications, TV, radio, film. Graduated with a bachelor's degree in like 2000, I think, or around there. Yeah, came back home and just started working right away. Day one, second location, Port Antonio Square. Well, I've worked primarily as an assistant director since I came back, you know, whatever it was, 10 years ago. Worked with a lot of really, really good people in the industry. I've been very lucky since I came back. I've gotten to work with Ras Casa, who was kind of like a mentor to me. People like Jay Will, Delano Forbes, you know, just a lot of people who had a lot of experience and I was able to learn from as I was coming up.
I'll be waiting for you, baby. Just give me that one chance.
So I've worked in everything from music videos to advertisements, feature-length movies as an assistant director, which is one of the best positions you can be in, to kind of really be next to a director and, you know, kind of learn from his eye and that sort of thing. Characteristics that lend themselves to filmmaking is probably creativity, being open-minded, and definitely a whole lot of patience. What happens a lot in the filmmaking industry is things don't always go as you planned it. So whether or not you're working on something in Jamaica that's a little low-budget thing, or you're working on something in full-blown Hollywood, people are going to be late, stuff gets painted the wrong color. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
And ready and go!
Passion is integral as well, because it is a sort of industry where a lot of things will happen and sometimes things don't work out. You know, and that's kind of life in general, but especially in the filmmaking industry, you find that things don't work out and maybe you work for months towards getting something done, and at the very last minute you realize maybe you couldn't get the funding for it, maybe your main actor dropped out, maybe the client, you know, just all sorts of stuff, you know. So if you don't have the passion for it in the first place, the passion is what keeps you going. The filmmaking process goes through 3 stages. So you have pre-production, you have production, and you have post-production. So pre-production, let's take for instance a movie, for example. Pre-production, you need the idea, script gets written, actors get casted, locations get scouted, the funding for the movie is gathered together. So it's all of the preparatory stuff that's needed in order to make the film. Production is the actual making of the film. So that's when everybody comes together, you've hired your crew, your actors are rehearsed, hopefully. You end up on set and you film everything that you need to do. And then post-production afterwards is once you've finished with the production aspect of it, that's where the footage now comes together. You give it off to the editor, colorist, that sort of thing, the sound mixer, and everything comes together at the end of the day.
So should more be done to teach film?
I don't think a filmmaker necessarily needs to be formally educated. I do believe that it can't hurt to go to school, to go to college, to learn the technical ins and outs, but at the same time, a lot of what you may end up finding from college is that you made the links to different people. So I have friends who work at NBC, I have friends who work at ABC, I have friends who work at Nickelodeon, you know, that kind of, that's not because, oh, I came out, I started working in this industry and I'm some big shot. These are people I went to school with, and we all kind of went in our separate directions with a common passion or a common goal, and we've all ended up in different places. So they might be turning around to say, you know, oh, well, I have this friend in Jamaica who's a filmmaker and we want to go and shoot something there, so let's link him. So for me, that's what college mostly was about. I did learn certain technical aspects of filmmaking, but I don't think I really started learning until I came home to Jamaica and started working in the industry. In terms of projects that I've worked on, as an assistant director, I've worked on close to 300 projects since I've been back, just over the course of the years. Everything from music videos to commercials. We've worked a lot with people like Digicel, worked with Phase 3 on a lot of stage shows at the beginning of my career. As an assistant director though, I've also worked on a few feature films. So things from Ras Casa. Ras Casa filmed 2 films years ago. One of them in Jamaica, was the assistant director on that, called Good As Gyal. Then we went to Trinidad the next year and we filmed another thing called Tribes that I was also one of the assistant directors on. That was a lot of fun. More recently though, I just finished, over the past summer, finished as first AD on Nick Cannon's feature film being done out here called King of the Dancehall.
So what are some issues facing local filmmakers?
One of the key issues I think that needs to be addressed in the Jamaican industry in general is our relationship with Jampro. and the actual filmmakers in the country. The lines of communication sometimes tend to get a little bit blurred, which is also why I say I can't necessarily speak for certain things that may or may not have happened at the film festival. Because in a lot of ways, I think we feel as filmmakers that we kind of get left in the dark a little bit.
Kurt talks to us about where he would like to see the industry in 20 years.
I'd like to see Jampro and filmmakers in Jamaica having a much better relationship in 20 years. I would like to see Jamaican filmmakers able to create much more than we're creating right now. We have incredible talent in this island. We have incredible talent in this island from uptown, downtown, midtown, all over. Tons of people have ideas, tons of people are very talented, tons of people have this great creative ability, and what they need is an outlet. My advice to newcomers in the industry would, in a lot of ways, tie into a lot of the things that we've said already. Just the stuff is there, the information is there, it's accessible, the equipment is there. It's not always the cheapest, but you don't always need the most expensive thing either. As I said, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but if you have a good cell phone, you can film something. It may not be the best thing, and I hope it wouldn't be the best thing you ever filmed if you shot it off of a cell phone, but the fact is you can also plug a mic into your cell phone's headphone jack, and that'll work as your audio, you know? So there's ways around certain things. Google, YouTube, all of these things have information ready and willing, which is also why I don't think it's necessary to go to school straight after. But if you feel as if you can't afford to go to school, but this is an industry that you're interested in, then put in the work.
That's it this week on Cameo. Where will our film industry be in 20 years? With the continued efforts of our local filmmakers, the sky is the limit. Until next week, I've been your host, Amita Fasad Webb.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The elite leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.